Rob Sanders.
Some would be entertained by it. Some would be horrified by
Kale
it.
Carolina Jackpot Hall.
All would be interested in it.
The Rob and Kale Podcasts.
Let's go.
And welcome into the Rob and Kale Podcast. I'm Rob Sanders. Thanks for joining us this evening. My friend is the best Gamecock YouTuber on the planet this evening. His team has a bye week, so he's wearing a Rutgers sweatshirt tonight. He is Mr. Carolina Jackpot, Kale Hall. Kale, what's up, buddy?
Not much, sir. So I have to ask, I've been fielding questions left and right. Is the rundown canceled? Is it on hiatus? What are we doing with the rundown?
So I've just been busy in the middle of the day. But we will get back to it here tomorrow.
All right.
Sorry about that.
I didn't ask. I was asking for friends.
Jackpot's like, I don't give a shit.
No, I didn't say that either. I just
I'm picking Jackpot. Well, we have a slew of games to pick this week. And yeah, Jackpot with his dog there.
Yeah, we'll have a guest picker.
Well, that dog might pick better than you and I have here lately.
It might do it.
Might do it. I'll put my money on Wheezy there. Why not? Anyway, Todd says, crack the whip, Jackpot. Okay. You guys are hilarious. All right, let's look at our picks for the week here, Jackpot.
When did I get a pug? Oh, we've had her for over a year. Stop that, baby. Stop. September of last year. So a little over a year. Stop.
It's Christopher's birthday. Happy birthday, Christopher. Happy birthday to you.
Birthday.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here. There we go. Let's see here. The first game we have, Jackpot, is the game of games here, Jackpot. And it is not Florida. What am I thinking? Damn it. The Georgia at Alabama game. I pulled some numbers, Jackpot. Since 2017, how good has Georgia been? They are 89-11. That's an 89% win percentage right there. 1-5 versus Alabama, 88-6 against the rest of college football. 2 of those 6 losses, though, were to Joe Burrow and that talented group they had down there at LSU. So it seems like that. I mean, we know that Georgia's been really, really good, but the point is that of their 11 losses, 5 of them are to Alabama. Mm-hmm. And Kirby Smart, I was texting with someone. I think it was Peg and Megan. I feel bad for Kirby Smart on this front because if he beats Alabama, he's supposed to because they got a new coach, and that's what he's supposed to do. But if he doesn't, then it's great, you can't beat Alabama. I mean, he's kind of damned if you do, damned if he doesn't. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with that, I think that Georgia, it's going to be a tough thing to go down there and win. But I'm going to roll with Georgia here, and I'm going to give up the 2 points heading down there. And that's tough for me because Alabama is just so good, but at home. But I just think that Georgia's going to keep them in check, and they've had a week to prepare for them. Kirby Smart always has his guys right for that. So give me Georgia -2.
Well, my friend, Alabama's also had a week to prepare for them.
Right.
However, it just looks to me like Georgia's defense is just a little bit better than Alabama's. I trust Kirby Smart just a little bit more here than I do Kalen DeBoer. That's not a knock on Kalen DeBoer. I just trust him a little bit more here in this situation. And let's not forget, too, I know revenge is overrated, but revenge isn't always overrated when they put you out last year. They put you out of the playoffs. Put you out.
Right.
I think they could have won a national championship again last year.
They could have.
But let's not forget that either. Yeah. So I'm gonna roll with Georgia Bulldogs too. This was tough. I would not bet a dime of my money on this either. I would pick some kind of a play on it, play on quarters, halves, something like maybe I might take Georgia first half team total under or something because they seem to start out these games slow.
Right.
They did against Clemson. They did against Kentucky. Well, the whole game against Kentucky was slow. But, yeah, that's the way I would play that, or a total or something. I wouldn't touch the line on this one because I really this is a very tough one, to be honest with you. So even they're both really good, and just really evenly matched.
Well, the next matchup there is Kentucky at Ole Miss. Kentucky is getting 17.5 on the road. Jackpot, this is a game I'm sure you'll be watching here. I mean, that's, you've already given Kentucky the old battle fest.
Yeah.
So, but you do have the whole thing with Ole Miss coming to town next week, 3:30 kickoff at Billy Bryce. So you kind of want to get a better look at them, right?
Yeah. Get down. Sorry.
That's all right.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
It's a bad one.
Ole Miss has just looked so good. They haven't played anybody, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, Wake Forest is not a horrible team. That's the kind what I kind of look at as my only little reference point there that I can, kind of look at and kind of draw some conclusions from here. I think they're going to roll it up on them. I think they'll win by 3 to 4 touchdowns. I don't see Kentucky being able to start fast enough to keep up. So I think they're going to get dusted and left behind.
So I expanded the screen there for us older folks. Randall, I'm feeling you too, brother. Tiny little stuff there, but I also zoomed it in for you. Hopefully you can see the lines on the screen now. I've got Ole Miss taking the, where's my soundbite, Jackpot? Oh, I got it right here. Here we go.
It's a bad one.
Yeah, they're going to beat shit out of Kentucky. That Kentucky hasn't done anything to show me that they're going to be good. I mean, I just don't see it. Now, the next matchup is an interesting matchup. And I say that because Arkansas has been better than I thought they would be. Texas A&M has kind of been what I thought they would be. I mean, it's a 3.5-point spread. Arkansas going on the road down there to Kyle Field. Which way you rolling there, Jackpot?
Well, I tell you, I like the way Arkansas has been playing. I like some of the pieces they got there offensively. I like that quarterback. I like that running back, Jaquindon Jackson. I think he's like the second leading rusher in the conference. They're playing pretty well. And honestly, I mean, I trust their offense more than I do Texas A&M's offense or their defense and what they can actually do. I mean, who's going to be playing quarterback for Texas A&M? We don't know. They played pretty well against Florida, looked pretty decent there, but last week they struggled this past week against fucking Bowling Green.
Excuse me.
So I mean, I just think Arkansas has outperformed expectations more so than what A&M has. And this is always a close game anyway. This is always like a 1-touchdown game. So give me Arkansas. Give me Arkansas. I don't know if they'll win, but give me the cover here. It's
at a neutral site too, Jackpot. I messed that up. They're Series World in Arlington. So they're
going to continue to play that game there all the time, or is this? I mean, that's so stupid.
Jerry Jones likes Jerry Jones is the Arkansas grad. I mean, if he wants to have a game in the stadium that he built, I'm sure he could do that. I'm going to take.
I think it's dumb. I think that the college game should be played on the college campus. I mean, and this is a rivalry. I mean, they should play it in each other's stadium, but I know what I know.
I agree with you, Jackpot. I agree. All right, I'm going to go with. I'm going to take Arkansas here. I think that their offense.
This would be a fade the public type of bet because I think about 80% of the public is on Texas A&M, just because they're ranked and Arkansas is not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that Arkansas is going to put up points. It's just my opinion. All right, Jackpot, I'm going to let you pick the next game. I'm going to change out my microphone because my battery's dying on this thing here. I forgot to charge it today, but let me change that out really quick. I'll be right back. The next matchup is Mississippi State at Texas. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Mississippi State at Texas. God, I mean, what can you say here? I mean, Texas has just been an absolute hammer. I'm Arch Manning will be starting at quarterback again in this game. I heard Quinn Ewers is progressing pretty well and actually could play, but I think Manning is the one that's going to get the start and will get the bulk of the work. No reason to waste him. Get hurt again. Against Mississippi State. Just having an absolutely terrible year. Lost at home to Toledo 2 weeks ago. Last week. Tried to hang in there for a while with Florida, but then let Florida pull away from them. And Florida's a terrible team too. Mississippi State has absolutely no pass defense. It's horrendous. I mean, there's just nothing to like. There's nothing to like here. And 38.5 is an absolute bus load of points. But if you think about it, I mean, if I'm thinking about something like 49-10, 49-7, 52-7. I mean, all that covers. And I say defense travels. Well, Mississippi State has no defense either. It's just a bad situation all the way around. So I'm rolling with Texas here. I don't know what you guys are thinking. I mean, in order for Mississippi State to hang in this ball game, I mean, they're going to have to get some turnovers, something. I just don't see it. I think they're just going to they're going to have their way with them. It's a name your score type of situation there for me. But I wouldn't bet this game. Not with my money. I wouldn't mess with it because it's so many points. You don't know what might happen. I mean, there could be some kind of fluky stuff at the end. There could be some kind of backdoor cover. Texas could put in the fourth string quarterback and he could fumble or throw an interception and like inside their own territory, and Mississippi State could get a cheap touchdown. So I'm going with Texas here for the contest, but I wouldn't touch this game.
All right. Jackpot, you can hear me, right? We're good?
I can hear you. It's kind of weird, but I can't see you. It's like you're up under the covers or something.
I put the I set this up because I wanted to make sure people could see it. People were saying they couldn't see the screen there, so let me just make it a little bit.
You're not very loud, but I can see you. I can hear you.
Well, there you go. Maybe that'll help out a little bit.
Yeah, there you go. Turn the volume up. Turn up the volume.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up.
Pump up the jam. Pump it up while your feet are jumping. Anyway.
That's not even a 90s reference there, Jackpot. That's like a straight 80s reference. Showing the age there, my friend. I agree with you. Texas they're just rolling whoever the hell they play anyway.
The Biscuit says Mississippi State money. Yeah, how much you putting on that there, Biscuit?
I'm taking Texas. That's why Biscuit's going to finish 96th. That's why that's going to happen. Anyway.
Yeah, like I was telling them, I don't know if you heard it or not, but I did say it is a lot of points and it's too many, and I wouldn't bet on it like personally, like as a personal bet. But right. Yeah, but in terms of that, I couldn't choose any other way to go but from Texas. But it's also a chance where you could give up a fluky touchdown by your third or fourth string and get a backdoor cover there from the Bulldogs. And that would be muy mal. So
your next matchup is Louisville at Notre Dame. It's a 6-point favorite. Which way you rolling there, Jackpot?
now you're cracking up.
Which way you going there, Jackpot? Notre Dame -6?
Notre Dame kind of been up and down a little bit this year. Louisville seems to be rolling, but this is another thing of they haven't really played any great competition. Louisville can't stop the run, and the game against Georgia Tech this past week, I don't know if you watched any of it, but I mean that game was the final score was not indicative of how the game was played. In fact, they should have lost. They could have lost. That being said, with them not being able to stop the run here, road game. I don't know what time this game is, but I'm going to back Notre Dame here as a home favorite.
As Big Barney Ross would tell us, Louisville sucks. I'm kind of on that road with him. Until they prove they can do something, I'm going to roll with Notre Dame and give up.
Yeah, I'm saying until they prove they can beat somebody besides Georgia Tech or North Carolina or fucking Virginia or who. I mean, they're really good against the lower to mid level ACC teams, and then when they play somebody good, they just disappoint. They're good for an upset every now and again. I think they beat Notre Dame last year at home in an upset. But, realistically, I mean, what are you going to do? Who are you going to back here? So
right. Bring that up a little bit, trying to get my –
So I'm backing – Matthew says Freeman isn't the guy. Yeah, he's not. But, I mean, Notre Dame's better than Louisville. And he's not going to lead them to any kind of elite status. They're not making any national championship appearances under Marcus Freeman, but he'll do.
So Louisville joined the ACC in 2014. They have yet to beat Clemson. Just to give you some perspective, they got an Ofer burger. So
that's the Texas A&M South Carolina treat in that rivalry.
Right. Yeah.
That we've actually won one.
The next matchup,
and we're fitting to win another one.
Okay, well, we'll see on that. The next matchup is Illinois at Penn State. Illinois is getting 18 going to Penn State, Jackpot. Maybe it's just me, but I think Penn State is flawed a little bit, and I think that Illinois has an outside shot to win this damn game. So I'm going to take the 18 points and roll with it.
Well, how's Penn State flawed? Their quarterback Drew Aller has the second highest QBR in the country behind Jackson Dart.
Look, the bedazzle sack lit him up, brother. I'm just saying, when you've got the bedazzle sack lighting you up, you're flawed, man. That's just how I feel about it.
I don't know. I mean, Bowling Green's is a pretty good team. I mean, they hung with and almost beat Texas A&M too. So,
yeah, a little bit different though.
I think it's not so much Penn State's got a lot of explosive plays too. That said, I mean, I think old Fat Bird up there at Illinois has got himself a pretty good football team. I mean, he's made for
you called him Fat Bert? Is that what you called him? Fat Bert?
Yes.
Holy shit, Jackpot.
You didn't know. You can see him from the moon. You don't know what you hadn't heard.
I got the reference. I remember. I listened. Holy shit.
Well, anyway, he's built for coaching in the Big Ten. I mean, that SEC experiment at Arkansas he shouldn't even been there. But I mean, defensively, I think they're really good. And I think that Altmaier guy is a pretty good quarterback. I mean, they were here 3 years ago. This game went to like 9 overtimes or something.
Right.
Yeah, 18 points is. I mean, this one just screams to take take Illinois here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to take Illinois. I think this could be a 10-point game, 10-point game, something like that. This kind of reminds me of that spot a couple of years ago when they played at Michigan. You remember that one? When
I do, yeah.
Yeah, 2022. Michigan, spent all that money, with Connor Stallion stealing signs so they could keep Tennessee out of the playoffs, and Illinois almost did it for them. So I wouldn't even have to worry about it. But anyway, so maybe Connor Stallion's working for Illinois. Anyway, that's what this reminds me of here. So I think they keep this game close, but I think Penn State pulls away at the end.
I bet this is the whiteout game, Jackpot. It's a 7:30 game, so
I looked it up online, and it says the game against Washington this year is the whiteout game, and that's not until November.
Okay, well, 7:30 at night in Happy Valley.
I mean, it could be wrong. I mean, could they not do more than one whiteout? I don't know.
They all look like a bunch of damn highlighters when they do that shit. I don't know.
Hey.
Anyway, I'm rolling with Illinois there. Illinois, by the way, has 2 wins over ranked teams already this season. They beat Kansas and Nebraska.
Yeah, but I mean, that whiteout game is like, I mean, I don't know that means anything. I mean, hell, half the fans up there are wearing white anyway. I mean, a couple of years ago, they had the whiteout game, and they barely beat a terrible Auburn team.
Well, there you go. I'm going with the. I'll take the 18.
I googled it though. I did look it up. I googled when is the Penn State whiteout, and it says it's against Washington. So.
Okay. Well, the next matchup is Wisconsin at Southern Cal. Wisconsin's getting 15.5 on the road. This game was tough for me because
Kentucky guy wants to know why they don't have a blackout game. Racist. That's why.
Shit. That's why.
Okay, this is a tough one here.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. 15.5 points for Wisconsin, who I don't think is very good. But I'm not really into Southern Cal either. I don't think they're very good. But since I have to pick here, I'm going to take Southern Cal at home with the 15.5.
Wisconsin's quarterback was hurt. That was this guy. God, I can't. Van Dyke.
Tyler Van Dyke. I think Chaz
Malusi. Though, I still think they can muddy a game up a little bit, ugly that up. It seems like a lot of points to me for USC at home. I mean, they're coming off an emotional loss. I'm gonna go the other way there. I'm gonna take Wisconsin.
All right. Well, Jackpot's rolling with the Badgers there. I think Chaz Malusi's still their running back up there at Wisconsin.
He is one of them. Yep, sure is. He's out there producing.
Yeah, he didn't have.
Imagine if y'all still had him with Phil Maffa. What a 1-2 punch that would be.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, the next matchup is let's see here. We got Colorado at UCF. Colorado is getting 14 points, Jackpot. Deion Sanders has made me not like Colorado at all. I'm at the point now where I hope they lose every damn game they play. That's just, and you can't think that way when you're trying to pick these games, but especially because I think they've got 2 top 10 players in the draft on their roster, and they are still a shithole. How does that happen?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know. Well, because they have no lines of scrimmage, and they don't believe in playing defense. Now, somebody asked me, is UCF's defense decent? That's what I was going to say. Their pass defense is not good, but at the same time, I mean, they can run the ball. I mean, they have a really, really good running back there, too. Last name Harvey.
Right.
I don't know. To me, this feels like them winning by 3 touchdowns. I mean, I just don't think Colorado is very good.
I don't either. I think they're.
I mean, and UCF defensively, They're a little bit flawed in terms of their pass defense, but I mean, how bad is Colorado's run defense going to be? This guy's going to run all over them.
Yeah. So. That 14 line though is interesting. I'm gonna roll with UCF there to cover.
And they're also Colorado's coming off the kind of emotional game there against Baylor. The kind of overtime last minute win there with the Hail Mary. So showed some guts to win that, but I think they come back down to earth a little bit here.
Right. Well, I'm not saying it's a hot take here, but Colorado may lose out, Jackpot. I'll give you the rest of their schedule. They got UCF, home for Kansas State, on the road at Arizona, home for Cincinnati, at Texas Tech, home for Utah, at Kansas, and then home for Oklahoma State. I think they lose out. I think they finish 3-9. I don't see anything there they can win. I really don't.
I don't think they beat Cincinnati. I think they beat Cincinnati.
Okay.
Yeah, Cincinnati sucks.
We shall see.
I think they'll beat them. I think they'll probably beat Utah. I predicted that in the offseason that they would beat Utah. I'm not so sure. Not sure about that.
All right, well, we'll see. So we're both taking UCF. The next matchup is goodness, I'm looking for mine. Okay, next matchup is BYU at Baylor. BYU is getting 3 points on the road, Jackpot. Baylor has been terrible. Why are they favored by 3 points, Jackpot?
Letdown spot for BYU, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Bounce back spot for Baylor.
I mean, but Baylor hasn't bounced anywhere. They either bounce up, I guess.
Well, they lost to Colorado. I mean, that's about as far down as you can bounce. So it's time for them to bounce back up.
Okay. Well, which way are you rolling? Baylor is 2-2, 10th in the Big 12. They have wins over Tarleton State and the Air Force Academy. They lost to, obviously, Colorado, and they lost at Utah.
Yeah, I don't know about all the spots and the bounce backs and the this and that. I think BYU is just better this year, so I think I'm going to have to roll with the Bicycle College again.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with BYU +3. The next matchup is the Kale Hall shitter. God, I cannot believe we're picking this game. Charlotte is getting 7 with Rice. God, Jackpot. I mean, I know you have fun picking the shitters here, but damn it, this is like Charlotte's got that weird ass coach that runs around and I say, oh, look at this. Runs around and that's the top 5.
Yeah, this is Biff. This is Francis Xavier. Look, I mean, both these teams are terrible. I mean, both of them rank statistically near the bottom of FBS and in both offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck out to me, though, they were showing the nation. I actually saw it on a clip on Josh Pate's show, showing the nation's leaders in sacks in terms of teams. Talking about Miami and how good they are across the front there. They had like 16 sacks. Rice has 14 sacks on the year. It's kind of like the Gamecocks. Both of them have 14 sacks on the year. Pretty good. Now, I was kind of tempted to go with Charlotte because last week I watched Charlotte play Indiana, and I had Indiana covered in that game. And I was pissed off right before halftime because, I mean, Charlotte was battling with them. I mean, they were showing some moxie, showing some guts, and it was like 14-10. Well, the next thing you know, it was like 52-10 or 52-14. But for a while, they hung in there, and I'm like, maybe they could hang in this game. But then, I saw that defensive stat from Rice, and I was like, and Charlotte's on like their third quarterback. They can't keep a quarterback healthy. So I'm thinking this is probably like the beginning of the end for Biff at Charlotte. I don't know if that experiment's going to work much longer. So,
Right.
unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the homestanding team here, that being the Rice Owls.
All right. Well, apparently, old Francis is going to be upset.
Lighten up, Francis.
Yeah, I'm taking Charlotte. Not Charlotte. I'm taking Rice. I'm sorry. Give me Rice -7. The next matchup. Oh, the beacon of hope game here. I say that with the biggest batch of sarcasm that I could possibly ever have here. The tree comes to Clemson. The tree is getting 22 points, Jackpot. The tree comes in at 3-1 on the season, Jackpot. They just won on the carpet at Syracuse. There's a story about, because of the fact that they had to fly back and all that and like wait on the plane or whatever, like Clemson did their laundry for them. There's a story out there about that, about how Clemson's doing they sent their laundry down to Clemson and Clemson did their laundry for them or some shit. It warms the heart. But Syracuse, the Syracuse game, they look pretty good on the defensive side. No one has stopped Clemson since the Georgia matchup. Georgia beat the shit out of them, but nobody else has done anything against the Clemson offense yet. I think that Stanford will keep it somewhat in the 20-point range. So I'm going to roll with the tree here, plus 22.
The tree, I just found out tonight by looking at some stats. And I wasn't even looking at the stats for the tree, but I found out they are in like the top 5 in the country in rush defense. Take that for what it's worth. They've only played 3 games. But that's against TCU, Cal Poly, and Syracuse. Nighttime environment. We've seen what's happened the past few weeks. I think they're going to get behind early, and they're not going to be able to catch up. So, give me the fucking ugly taters here again. I think they keep on rolling. I think they win by like 28 here. The only thing that concerns me about them, the past couple weeks, though, they did it against App State a little bit, but not so bad. Last week against NC State, they let them come back and made that final score look like, if you just looked at the glancing box score, okay, it was 59-35. It was back and forth for a while, and then I guess Clemson pulled away. And that's really not what happened. It was like 52-7 or something at one point.
Right.
And they let them score like 4 touchdowns. So that's the only concerning thing there is a backdoor cover situation. But I feel pretty confident in my pick of the Tigers there. So,
well, here's the other thing too. You said this on the last show about what in the hell's happened to the Clemson offense. Klubnik looks like he knows what he's doing. Is Dabo gotten out of the whole call and place thing? I got nothing for you. They've been playing really great, but I still think that Stanford defense will keep them somewhat close.
Well, and that's the thing. Stanford is. Is Stanford that much better than NC State? Maybe so.
I'll put the link out there if you want to join the show. Baylor,
I think NC State is really shitty, but are they that much difference? Maybe. I don't know.
I'll tell you one team they're better than. My team. What?
Whoa. Who's doing that, Jackpot? I can hear them growling.
Stop growling at that baby. I'm sorry, Baylor man.
Yeah, go ahead, Baylor man. What you got?
Sad man.
Sad, mad, down bad, man. Well, I don't have much because Well, my season just ended this past weekend.
Lighten up, Francis.
Well, losing to Colorado is kind of hard to stomach, I think.
That's basically like the SEC equivalent to losing to Vanderbilt.
Oh my goodness!
And probably the ACC equivalent to losing to maybe Virginia.
Really?
I
Oh,
think it's that bad,
oh,
huh?
oh yeah, because Colorado didn't even have a coach. It's just nothing but a clown show. But
Yeah, yeah. All the ridicule they've got and whatnot. I mean, I would think that'd have to be like on par with losing to Florida State or something. That's why I wouldn't want to play them. That's why I wouldn't want to play Colorado because if you beat them, well, you're probably supposed to, and nobody's really going to give you a big pat on the back for doing it. But if you lose to them, I mean, the whole world laughs at you. I'm not.
I mean, it's just basically like the equivalent now to losing to Sunbelt Billy.
Yeah, kinda. I put it on par with that. I know the feeling. My bunch has lost to him twice. We're 0-2 against Sunbelt Billy. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I think Rob's trying to say something, but I think he's muted.
I don't know what he's doing. He's over there talking in like tongues or something.
Mumbling. Maybe I ought to make the picture of Bruiser bigger.
Right.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I
trying to point at him.
Favorite mascot.
I don't know what he's doing. I'm trying to point at him to clue into him that I can't hear him.
All right, I'm sorry. I had someone call me. I apologize.
That's
anyway.
Don't they know we're trying to do a dang show here? This is professional.
We're doing the fucking show. Stop fucking calling the show. Damn it. I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, if they want to get in the show, they get on the link like everybody else.
Yeah, there's that. All right, there you go. All right, Baylor man. Appreciate it, buddy.
I appreciate it too. Just shows that I don't fight after a loss.
Yeah,
that's
Not to a team like that. I'm still here. I'm still breathing.
Yeah, I mean everybody who's a fan of anybody has had to deal with a loss before. You can't run away and hide after them.
To this magnitude, especially lost the Dion stands.
All right. Well, appreciate it, buddy. Good luck with your game this week. Let's welcome Sporty into the program. Sporty, what's up, brother?
What's up, Rob? What's up, Jackpot? How y'all doing?
Better than we deserve.
Yeah, I was looking at y'all's picks. I think I clicked on the live show, and when during the middle of when y'all was doing y'all's picks, who'd y'all pick for the Bama?
You often sit in the dark, or there's power out down there.
Yeah, you need some power down there on campus, brother.
Well, I didn't know there's storms rolling through. Seriously.
Yeah,
we didn't have his power. I don't know.
No, it's just the light.
I didn't say you had to get out of the dark. I was just asking about it.
Yeah, who'd y'all pick for the Georgia-Bama game? I mean, it was like a 2-point spread, but who'd y'all pick for that one? I didn't see it.
I took Georgia. I think Jackpot took Georgia too.
I did too. I just can't pick against them, and it's like I was telling him. If I were betting the game with my own money, I wouldn't be betting a side like that. I would do something like Georgia first half under on the points, since I seem to have a problem with starting slow this year.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe that also kind of goes back to last year too. But other than that, I wouldn't mess with it. It's too close to call.
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of those games. I agreed with this. Well, I mean, wait, is it Rob? Isn't it your picks that are on the screen?
Yeah, I put my selections on the screen. Jackpot tells you who his are. Yeah, so.
Yeah, one thing I will say, I think Baylor man came in before me. Baylor man, don't worry. Way to come back after your team lost. Listen, I've had to deal with 2 losses to Sunbelt Billy.
Yeah, he was saying something about losing to Colorado was like on par with losing to Sunbelt Billy, and I told him, hell, we've lost to him twice. We're 0-2 against Sunbelt Billy.
That's why I wanted to I don't care if we go to their place. I almost wanted to play them again this year just so we could get that win against them. It's kind of like
we
how
can play them in a bowl game or so. Well,
no, we
they would play with the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like, remember how it took. We've only beaten Texas A&M once. You know how everyone was pointing and laughing at Jimbo Fisher for being an absolute failure at Texas A&M, and we couldn't really say anything because we had Texas A&M.
I said something about that one time. I was like, it would be nice if one of these coaches who is having a rough time that everybody does the point and laugh routine at, that we could join in on that. Well, we can't because we can't beat them. Well, it's the same thing right now with Sunbelt. I mean, we can't point and laugh at Sunbelt Billy. Not really, because we haven't beaten them. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. So like if you were to make a tier list if you were to make a 1 to 16 list of the teams in the SEC, what would yours look like, sort of?
What's that?
If you were to rank the SEC,
you want to say like a ranking of the SEC teams? Are we talking about this season, or is just programs overall, or where the programs are
this season, just so far?
Like for right now, I mean, the bottom has to have. I mean, Florida's got to be down there near the bottom. I mean, Mississippi State's probably the worst team in the conference.
Florida's down there. Auburn for me. Mississippi State. I don't know that Kentucky's not down there too.
Jackpot, are you looking at titty pics? Biscuit says, "Don't mind this, Jackpot. Look at your titty pic."
No, I'm
titty pics. That's funny.
I've been looking at the chat here. I've been reading it on my phone.
Yeah, I'm picking at you, Jackpot. No, I would have.
That's not what. Oh, never. Oh, no, not good.
No. Up at the top, it would be. I would have. I think Georgia's better than Texas, so I would do Georgia, Texas, and then Alabama, and then I would probably have. I'd probably go Tennessee after that, and then it's kind of after, and then Ole Miss is right there too. I'd probably put Ole Miss ahead of Tennessee, but they're like
the Athletic has Tennessee power. They have them number 2 in the SEC. You believe that?
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, what? I mean, honestly, I mean, tell me why. What have they done to be? I mean, what are they? How are they better than Ole Miss? How are they better than?
Let's even say that. Let's say, how are they better than Georgia and Texas and Alabama? What makes you think that right now they are?
Well, no, they had them behind Texas, but they had them above Georgia. I mean, Georgia beat Clemson. I mean, that's a better win than their win over Oklahoma. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It just is. I don't like Clemson, but that's a much better win than that. So yeah, Alabama's beaten with the hell. Alabama went on the road at Wisconsin. You might could blowing them out. You might could argue that that's a better win than winning at Oklahoma. So
yeah.
Well,
I don't know. You can make an argument for all of them, but you know, I mean, running the score up on Kent State just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I can feel a little bit more from that.
I think that, in my opinion, I guess, and I know the Tennessee folks are thinking I'm just ripping them. I'm not. I think you need more than the Oklahoma win for me to think that you're in the same stratosphere as Texas.
It's coming. We all know it's coming. They're going to get exposed. They're going to get exposed. This is almost like this is going to be a rinse and repeat of 2022. So.
Well, and but here's the thing though, Jackpot. they could go 10-2 and still be a good team, but not, that's not going to get you in the playoffs, in my opinion.
I think a 10-2 Tennessee makes the playoffs.
I don't think
they'll
so.
find some way to get them in.
So if you have a 10-2 Tennessee team, you're going to put them in, and let's say you have Texas, Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss all with one loss. You think that a 10-2 Tennessee team is going to make the playoff?
If it plays out like that, then probably not. But I mean, I don't know if that plays out exactly.
I think that they drop 2 games, they're out. Because I think that the rest of the conference, and I know that people are going to think I'm silly, but I think the rest of the conference is going to eat themselves. And I think that everybody will get a loss, and we'll have a bunch of one-loss teams. What'll be interesting is that if you have 2 one-loss teams in the SEC championship game, and the loser of that SEC championship game ends up with 2 losses, but let's say Tennessee has 2 losses, they're not going to play, and their fans are going to be like, fuck it, we have to go anyway, even though we didn't play for the conference title. That's going to be some silly shit we'll be talking about in December.
I mean, there's definitely a case that 10-2 doesn't get them in, but it's hard to tell at this point in the season.
Well, it also could depend on, let's be honest, it could depend on the 2 losses. If the 2 losses are to they've got Georgia and Alabama. If they lose those 2 games, okay. You know, not that there's a bad, a good losses anywhere, but if they drop a game to, I mean, Jesus, I don't see them dropping any of these other games. Let's say it's Arkansas.
That's one I have circled. That's one I have circled that could end up being the 2022 South Carolina game.
Well, that could be interesting. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm just saying that they're not above it. You know what I mean? And they got to play there too.
Definitely not.
If they lose that game, but they beat Alabama and then go on the road and lose to Georgia, is that 10-2 Tennessee team going? I don't think so. I don't think so. So we shall see.
Who else do they play? Oh, they play Sunbelt Billy too, right?
So they got Arkansas. They got the week off, then they play at Arkansas, home for Florida. If that game was in Gainesville, they'd probably lose.
Probably.
Don't be a Tennessee fan. You can't fucking win there when they have a fucking generationally bad team. You get your dick handed to you. Until you win there, you're a fucking loser when you go to Gainesville. Then they play Alabama at home. Also, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home before going to Georgia. And then they play UTEP. What the fuck? And then they're at Vanderbilt.
That Vanderbilt matchup at the end of the year might be spicy.
They're going to
circle that one up.
Mouth pump Vanderbilt, jackpot. I don't know what.
Well, I'm sure Missouri thought they were going to mouth pump Vanderbilt too.
They are going to mouth pump Vanderbilt. They're going to mouth pump Kentucky and Florida too. I could buy the Arkansas thing because I could buy that. That's on the road, etc. But there's going to be a lot of mouth pumping on that schedule. Except
I don't know. I think Mark Stoops has grown weary of losing to them. Just saying.
Well, I mean, you can get tired of losing to people all you want, but if you can't do fucking anything about it.
He's searching for that signature win.
Shit.
Well, he had it against Georgia. He just didn't take the chances. I mean, he was too conservative with certain decisions. Like, I mean, if he had gone for a few of those 4th and 5s, 4th and 6s, and 4th and 7s, and gotten them, maybe we're talking a different story about that game.
Wayne over in the comment section says 10-2, the Vols are on the playoffs. Any 10-2 team makes the top 12, Rob? ? What are you talking about, sir? Okay, well, I mean, this guy's acting like we've picked multiple 12-game playoffs. I mean, this is the first one. This is the first. I don't think that we know that every 10-2. What?
Yeah, I think there's going to be, if you have 4 one-loss SEC teams one of them is your champion, and the other 3 have 1 loss. And Tennessee comes in at 10-2. I don't think they're making the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't, because just the way that shit's going to shake out, you're going to have the other end of it too. If you're a Tennessee fan this weekend, you know what your ass needs to do? You need to go sit in the corner and watch that Louisville game and hope that they knock off Notre Dame to keep them out of the damn thing altogether. Because if you're thinking, hey, we're going to lose these 2 games to Georgia and Alabama, you better hope that Notre Dame's not in the mix, because there's going to be people in there that are like, well, an 11-1 Notre Dame team has to go in, even though you're probably better than they are at 10-2. You need Notre Dame with another loss. You need that quick. So go watch Louisville this weekend and hope that they can help your playoff hopes.
Volume 50 says, hopefully Kentucky doesn't wear wristbands. Oh, Kentucky puts the wristbands on. You're screwed. I mean, you're done. You're
Buck Stoops
absolutely
is
done.
too cautious to do that. He wouldn't do that. He doesn't take chances.
Here's the most recent one. And this has been in the comment section on some of my videos, and I've read about it on the internet too, about how shitty Oklahoma's field is kept. They grew. This is for real. This is fucking for real. I don't know what their obsession is with grass growing and fucking agriculture and horticulture or whatever, but the Vols said they purposely let the crown on their field get too high to try to slow them down, and they didn't take care of the field properly purposely to slow down Tennessee's offense as well too. Now, Oklahoma played a home game the week before against Tulane. Now, I don't know. I don't know any Tulane men, and I hadn't gotten on any of their social media stuff. I didn't hear anything about any Tulane people complaining about the field.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Look, here's the thing too. People talking about, well, if they're in the top 12, the committee won't have them in the top 12. G-Man says a 10-2 SEC team is getting in over an 11-1 Notre Dame team. No, they're not. Brother, there is money and all this other shit in there. And I'm telling you, if they have an 11-1 Notre Dame team, the fucking Catholics are getting in, brother. Over a 10-2 team. You think I'm joking? There is a suck dick culture when it comes to Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame's 11-1. They're thinking they're going to win everything. You may
as long as NIU keeps winning.
NIU lost to Buffalo.
NIU lost. They lost to Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Right.
But that doesn't matter. And 11.
Pete Wimbo comes for blood.
Damn right he does. I'm just saying that's gonna be one of the more interesting things, because there are people that think there's gonna be 6 or 7 SEC teams in there. One guy was making an argument there's going to be 7 SEC teams out of the 12. Are you out of your fucking mind? You've got one group of 5, and then 4 conference champions. One of those will be an SEC team. So 6 at-large bids are going to the SEC. I don't think they're going to do that in the first year. Now, if they do, that's great. It may, but the problem that you have is that when you look at the schedule, everybody in the SEC plays each other. So you're going to have losses there. And in the end, the Big Ten is going to lose their shit if they don't have at least 2 teams in there. There's going to be some hurt SEC fans. But if I were you, I would be begging Louisville, please, little ACC team, hang another loss on Notre Dame, because that's going to help your cause a lot.
I think
Rob, do you think that Mizzou's a playoff caliber team?
After listening to the Mazodcast today, fuck no, they think they're terrible.
Well, my thing, they've got some losable games on the schedule. I mean, games that I thought they would win, but now I'm not so sure about it after their performance the past couple of weeks. It's just been, I mean, when I look out of, I watched that game Saturday as a Gamecock man, and this is without being biased. They don't scare me. They don't intimidate. They don't look good.
To be fair, Jackpot, Drinkowitz's teams have played better as the season goes on. If you watch all of his teams, they piss poor around the first couple of bits, and then all of a sudden they start grinding it out.
Okay,
So,
well,
there you go with that.
I can't.
they need to get it together because I mean this has been the easiest portion of their schedule, supposedly.
Let me address Wayne's question here. FSU was 13-0 last year, Rob. Where were they in the playoffs? First of all, sir, if there was a 12-team playoff, I absolutely assure you Florida State would have been in it. I don't think anybody's going to disagree with me on that. They were 13-0, 12-team playoff. They would have been in, period. There's only 4 teams last year, and we know why they were kept out. So I don't know where you're going with that. But if you people think that Notre Dame doesn't have
that doesn't make any sense. You're like comparing apples to oranges now.
Oh, he's saying because of schedule. No, it wasn't because of schedule. They kept them out because they lost their fucking quarterback, man.
It didn't have anything to do with their schedule.
Had nothing to do with their schedule. I mean, that is some
and that was my thing, was that they all cried about it. But
right.
the fact is that rule was in place. I mean, it was there, and then everybody acted and they wanted to pitch a bitch about this. Like, well, they've never done that before. Well, they never had that situation come up before.
Right. Well, look, Biscuit with a good point here. It's impossible amongst the teams capable of being 11-1. He's right. What Billy said earlier, it's a round-robin schedule, and the SEC is going to eat themselves. It's just the way that it is. You know what? I'm not one that's going to sit here and ride SEC penis like a lot of you folks do, but I'm going to tell you, you may have some 9-3 SEC teams that'll smoke the 11-1 Big Ten teams, or maybe even the Big Ten champion in a playoff game, but they're not going to get there. So
we saw Mizzou smoking 11-1 Big Ten team last year.
Right. Wayne with another comment. Who gets paid more? Notre Dame has their own fucking contract with NBC, sir. Fucking, they've had within fucking BC, coast to coast. Don't start with me with money and the fucking Fighting Irish. God damn, jackpot. Save me here, brother. Holy shit. Man, what a mess. I mean, you guys have to look at it. Just trust me. Biscuit knows that I'm not an SEC guy at all, but I think he would halfway agree with me, and so would anybody else. An 11-1 Notre Dame team's going.
They'll find some way to prop them up. They'll find some way to prop that fucking schedule up to where they get in.
They will be in at
11-1. They beat Southern Cal and they only lost one game, or they only lost 2 games, and Southern Cal did this and this and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I mean there are. It makes people angry, but Notre Dame has a lot of backhanded shit, and I know that sounds silly, but there are a lot of fucking Catholics out there. And I say that, it sounds like I'm horrible. There are a lot of Catholic people out there that love Notre Dame. Just send that last statement. I'm not pissing on the Catholic faith. I'm just saying that's like old school fucking old money is what we used to call it. All right. And if they can tell Ole Miss, nah, sorry, 10-2 Ole Miss, take your ass at home. Notre Dame's coming. They'll do it.
Well, that's what would happen.
That's exactly what would happen. And by the way, I'll be here regardless. And if I'm wrong, please come back and you guys can yell at me and call me dumb as fuck. And I'll wear that title. I'll get me a cape and then I'll be super dumb as fuck.
This is the reason why they've been able to stay out of joining a conference for so long.
Yeah, this is the reason why Swafford and the ACC had them by the balls the COVID year. He could have said point blank, all the other conferences said nobody is playing non-conference games. We're all in it. We're going to play teams within our conference, and that's it, because then we can control COVID, etc. if we have to go back and dance with that. But he had them by the balls. He could have said, look, either join or
you join or you play Navy and fucking Notre Dame, or Navy and fucking Army. You play a military schedule. And that's it.
Well, and I think that, but he had him by the balls and he didn't do it because he's a fucking eunuch that is doomed ACC football coverage forever, and it's his fault. And I hope he enjoys his retirement where he can beat off to Duke, North Carolina basketball games. That's all they gave a shit about. So there's that.
It looked like North Carolina was playing a basketball game Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah, I wanted to make.
You gotta get Rob as an SEC bias in here, buddy. What else you got?
Yeah, I was just gonna say Clemson's looking pretty good offensively, and Cade Klubnik's impressed me.
But they haven't they haven't played anybody worth a shit yet, though. The one defense they played that was good, they looked like an abortion. So I mean, for people like
Cade doing
all the Clemson fans up in my damn Twitter feed, oh, we're back. No, we're not. No, we're not.
What about this? I've seen where some of them they're serious. They're serious. They want a rematch with Georgia.
Nah, that ain't gonna work out too well.
Look, I'm not in the camp that I want to say, hey, we should go and play Georgia again. I am saying though, if they get into the playoff, okay, and they're the ACC champion and they're a 12-1 ACC champion, they'll make the playoff. You know, they could match up with Georgia down the road. I mean, why not get another shot at them? Why not? I'm not one to sit here and say you should duck somebody. Georgia would probably punt them in the face again and kick them right square in the hoo-ha and send them.
Well, I mean, the way that I don't know. The way Miami looks right now with Cam Ward, they look unstoppable. I don't see Clemson beating them. But
yeah, I don't see Clemson winning that one.
Well, I think he's going to take too many hits, and he may not be there at the end of the season. There's a bold take on that. And that and Cristobal's dumb. That motherfucker eats paint chips for breakfast. He's a stupid fuck. Every time I see him, I'm like, how has this guy got a multi-million-dollar coaching deal? Jackpot's
Mario Big Chef.
All right, get Rob has an SEC bias in here. Thanks for letting me on.
Iron and crack steel.
What's up, buddy?
Good evening, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Better than we deserve.
Oh, yeah, I like to hear that. Rob, I was looking at the FBI, the ESPN FPI, and I do kind of agree with you. I'd like to see Clemson's offense do it against a contender team. So we saw what you do have to admit though, it's weird. It was just completely different from week to week. So maybe you got something cooking, but I wanted to talk about a couple things. Did you guys know, first of all, Robbie Ashford was the #1 rated quarterback in all of college football last week?
But to be fair,
surprised me.
To be fair, he won't. You have one good week as a backup. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm not saying he's gonna. I'm not saying make him the starter. I just thought that was interesting, especially given the narrative around Ashford going.
Well, I think it's hilarious considering the absolute shit show that Hugh Freeze has going on down there in Auburn, Alabama, where he benched his starting quarterback Peyton Thorne, which he didn't go out to the transfer portal to get a decent quarterback last year. He just dicked around and said, "Oh, I like my starting quarterback, who's okay, whatever. This guy sucks." And then he gets benched, and then this other guy, this Hank Brown, whoever the fuck that is, that they replaced him with, all he does is throw 3 interceptions. So they bench him and bring Peyton Thorne back in, and he stinks it up. And meanwhile, Robbie Ashford's just up here. We're just going to throw for 250 yards and a couple of touchdowns. And
he was terrible for right at 400 total yards of offense. But you know what, Jackpot? It couldn't have happened to a nicer guy than Hugh Freeze. Motherfucker went to Liberty to find Jesus, and he's still looking for him down in fucking Auburn now. Couldn't have happened to a nicer guy.
Yeah, I think. He's a piece of shit. I mean, when you have when you have former quarterbacks coming out and just absolutely besmirching you, that says something about your character. I mean, when's the last time you heard that? A former college quarterback coming out and talking that poorly against an active coach.
I've talked to former Clemson and South Carolina players and Charleston Southern players, and they've talked about XY coach did this to me, and it wasn't the full experience I thought it was going to be. And you hear shit from players all the time, but when they're really pieces of shit, though, they will come out and do what Bo Wallace did. Yeah. The rest of them will keep it to themselves and say, you know what, I was a man trying to grow up, and blah blah blah. I'm gonna keep it to myself. But.
And let's just be honest, Bo Wallace isn't the shining beacon of morality. So when you got a guy like him calling you out, I mean that's like Steven Garcia coming out and telling you you're a shitty person. You know what I mean? But another thing I want to talk about with the FBI.
I'm sorry, that's funny. That's really funny.
It's true. I mean, it's true. Bo Wallace. I mean, shit. Wasn't he with old Jason Brown? I think he was with Jason Brown from Last Chance U in community college.
Sure.
But I also want to talk about. Did you know the Gamecocks are sitting at 29 in the FBI right now, Jackpot?
I did not.
29th. Starting to see a little love coming to the team. I was looking at it. They've got like some percentages for like game wins. They've got us at a solid 75% chance to at least make a bowl. So it's not the most favorable.
Where will they be? Where will they be in the FPI when you go 0 for October again?
We're beating Oklahoma. Jackson Arnold looked like shit, man. You don't think we're gonna beat Oklahoma after watching that Tennessee game?
I'm not moonwalking back what I said. Your offense is the shit, sir. And I don't think you're winning that game on the road.
Well, listen, if we can hold Oklahoma to
we can score more than 15 points.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
We can beat them.
I mean, they looked terrible. And honestly, old Skeletor, if they don't get some shit turned around, I mean, I don't know if it's going to happen this year, but by God, next year he's going to be on the hot seat.
If you're playing Oklahoma this week, I might be able to buy what you're selling, but he's going to have more time to figure some shit out down there. And regardless of what you think of him, Venables is a good coach.
I don't think
that's right.
I think he's a good coach. I think he's suffering from the move to the SEC. I think he's a coach that you got to give time to. But
they've only played one fucking game.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it doesn't matter. He looked like absolute shit, and his quarterback looked terrible.
He looked like shit in his one game. I mean,
yeah. I mean, damn.
One game does not completely define an entire coach, man. I'm not buying all that either. So
well, they didn't have the most exciting season last year either. Let's just be honest. He didn't really meet expectations last year. So
okay.
Well, no, he did better last year. He was 10-2 last year. The year before, he was.
That was the year before.
The year before, he was 6.
That's what I was saying. He went
10-2. I'll respect 10-2. I'll respect 10-2. 10-2 is respect, but I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but the guy's lost. He's lost 3 home games in his entire tenure there at Oklahoma. But yeah, let's just throw him out the fucking door there.
Well, listen, how
it's not like he's been there a decade, sir.
Well, that, and you know how
you know what? If I were Ray Tanner and I was on my way out and I really cared about South Carolina, I would go and fire Shane Beamer right now and fucking back the Brinks truck up and try to bring Venables down here. That's a fucking real coach. You want to talk about somebody that could get South Carolina and get them right? Bring old Skeletor down here. He'd have you motherfuckers at 10-2 in no time.
That's foolish.
I'm dead serious. That's not foolish. You think you're gonna do better than that Gatorade cooler kicking motherfucker?
Okay, that's delusional talk.
I mean, Beamer has cut his teeth already in the SEC. All right.
I don't care what SEC Mike said. He's given so far through a quarter of the season that he's giving Shane Beamer the honorable mention for the SEC Coach of the Year so far.
Got to be said. I mean, we were projected dead fucking last. If not, well, maybe Vandy was behind us.
To be fair, sir, even when you guys are great, you're not projected to be very good by the SEC media because you got a bunch of suck dicks that are going to be like, oh, Georgia's the best and Alabama's the best, even though they've got fucking whatever. they're going to pick you to finish last regardless. That's not really a fair metric. All I'm saying is that if I were a Gamecock fan and I was one of those big Silver Spurs or whatever, and I could get Skeletor down here, I would fire Shane Beamer on the fucking spot. I'm serious. I don't think there's a much higher ceiling if you had Venables. I'm just saying.
I don't know about that. Beamer has
he doesn't seem like a fit.
Nah.
You'd rather have Beamer over Venables. Is that what you're
Right
telling
now,
me?
yeah. Right now, yeah.
Oh my God.
He ain't coming here. He's
And then
where's his alma mater? Oklahoma's not his alma mater. See, he's from Kansas.
Alma mater's Kansas State. That's his own. I'm just saying, if you back
That's
up
his
the
dream
Brinks truck,
job.
just told him we'll rename the Brinks truck the Venables truck. Well, you can have your own fucking set of Brinks trucks that we'll name the Venables trucks, and then bring him here. That's the kind of coach South Carolina needs.
I think you kind of lost it this evening.
No, I don't think he would be a good fit here. I mean, especially given his ties at Clemson.
If your guys go 0 for October like I said they have, and they struggle to beat Vanderbilt, you're going to be saying the same shit. Get this motherfucker out of here. You'll be saying the same shit on your live stream because you know it just as well as I do.
Well, nobody really expects him to beat Alabama or Ole Miss. And then the only way Oklahoma's beating us if they improve a lot between now and then.
Yeah, I mean that team looked like shit, man. Let's just be honest.
If they improve a lot, we might not be laying points when we go there. It might be a pick 'em, but if they stay what they are right now, Carolina will be favored in that game.
Well, and you know another thing I've been yeah, I don't think that's far off. I don't think that's far off.
Favored on the highway, yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, and another thing that's been uncharacteristic of the Gamecocks as of late, but has really been a key to our, just the overall trend of the team is keeping our guys healthy this year. A stark difference between any of the Beamer years from this year and the previous, in regards to
the starting
injuries.
Quarterback just missed a game with a fucked up ankle.
I know, but by this point we were already
out too.
But by this point, we were already down 4 starting O linemen last year.
Oh, because we got less hurt.
We're less hurt.
And RB1 are both walking in walking boots.
Rob,
right now.
we had 4 of our starting O linemen out by this point last year.
Well, it didn't matter because you had fucking the Arn Anderson of fucking coaches over there. We know what you used to call him, Jackpot. He could have had the damn Steelers offensive line from the 70s with old Webby up there as a center, and y'all still wouldn't have been any fucking better with that damn coach.
Fat Arn Anderson. Yeah, I've had about enough of that damn bunch of clowns down there. Look, that's why Clemson's more explosive right now. You know why? I watch those plays. I sit here and watch this stuff. They're all doing their job. Everybody on the offensive line was doing their job during all those explosive plays. And you know what? That makes shit happen.
Well, and that's one thing I've seen from the Gamecocks, particularly in that LSU game, is the inability to defend edge rushers. Like when you're bringing cornerbacks or bringing linebackers off the edge, it's like the O-line can't recognize when they're bringing pressure. That's not just from the defensive front. And I mean, that comes down to coaching at the end of the day.
Well,
running backs and shit have to block those people too.
Your quarterbacks are taking too many fucking hits too. You got 40 carries for Sellers, 33 carries for Ashford. And I know Ashford's a running quarterback, but 73 of your rushing plays are from your quarterback spot. That's not fucking good, sir. That is piss poor coaching. I don't give a shit what anyone says. Biscuit, welcome to the show. I'm just going to refer to you as 96, sir. Is that all right? Can we do that?
Is that the spot I'm in?
Hey, Biscuit. Biscuit, you're a Tennessee fan, right?
No,
he's not a Tennessee fan.
I didn't know what fan he was.
Apologize, sir. He's not a Tennessee fan.
I apologize. Who are you a fan of, Biscuit? Georgia, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you paid your talent tax yet today.
Well, I'm sure ours is coming. I'm sure it's going to be if it's Tennessee has 10%. I'm sure we're going to move it to 11, and then
Biscuit has season tickets. He's been paying a talent fee. He just doesn't know it yet.
So did I actually hear a little bit ago that someone suggested that Notre Dame would have to justify themselves to make the playoff if they finished 11-1?
No, and right now
they're
in.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
and,
still.
and by the way, they deserve it. What
They're
are you
ninth
talking
in the
about?
FBI right now. They're ninth, so clearly that loss hasn't set
Yeah,
them
but
back
someone
too
earlier said the committee will find a way to get them in if they go 11-1. They don't need to find a way. You guys are making this too complicated. They don't need to find a way to get them
No.
in. If they finish in the top 11, they're going to get in.
Yeah,
11-1 Notre Dame is going to be in the top 5 or 6 probably.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, I'm just saying like that
Right.
they're going to.
Well, here's
they're
the
gonna get
thing:
in.
the Notre Dame people are going to bitch because they're probably not going to get into the whole bye area. They're going to be bitching about why can't we get up there where we have a bye, and that's where they're going to be pissed off. But they're not going to play conference championship weekend, and the SEC championship. Whoever the loser of that game is, I think they're out. Just by if you look at who has to play,
that's probably going to be a second loss. Yeah.
Whoever's there will probably have 2 losses, and if Notre Dame's 11-1, bye-bye. Go to the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Yeah, Rob, you were talking about earlier when you were referring to Tennessee at 10-2 not getting in because of all these other SEC teams being in front of them. That doesn't matter. If the SEC has number 1, number 3, 5, and 6, if Tennessee finishes in the top 11 at 10-2, which they likely would, they're getting in.
I don't think that the way that it sets up that 10-2 they'll finish in the top 12 is what I'm trying to say. I think the committee will push them down past those numbers is what I'm trying to do.
Well, if you look at the past polls in years past, the top 11, we had Arizona in the top 11 last year. The year before that, we had Tulane in the top 10. They were 9th.
Right. But to be fair,
but you've bunched the teams together more, and they're playing against each other more. So there's going to be even more losses. 100%. I'm not saying this year. We're going to have eventually a 9-3 team get in that has a really strong schedule.
I think so, and what you're saying makes sense. But I just think that with last year's rankings, I think they maneuver those things around. I mean, everything was about the top 4. Now that it's the top 12, I think they're going to maneuver folks around differently, and I don't think that it's going to work that way. They're going to find a way that they're going to have to. I think they're going to try to include more Big Ten teams, to be honest with you. And if they could get another Big 12 team in there, because it's not going to be anybody from the ACC, because, unless it's, you end up with this too. If Miami goes undefeated and they play Clemson, and Clemson's 11-1, and Clemson beats them in Charlotte, are you telling Miami, no, you can't go because you've got one loss to the ACC champion who lost one game on the season to Georgia that won the SEC, but hey, Miami, go fuck yourself? That's not going to happen.
No, are you saying Miami at 12-1?
Miami 12-1. Their only loss is to
Clemson. They're getting in.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If you have those one-loss teams, they're going to get in over.
How many one-loss teams? How many 0-loss and one-loss teams do you think we're going to have?
I think from the ACC right now, you could have 2 with Miami and Clemson. And it hinges on if Clemson can beat them in the ACC championship game. You'll have 2 teams with 1 loss there. From the SEC, I think that from the Big Ten's the other one too. I have to look at who all plays everybody, but they could have, I think I read like 3 teams right now projected with 1 loss. So you got 3 Big Ten teams with 1 loss. Where do you go from there?
And the thing with these 2-loss teams that not a lot of people have been talking about is what's going to come into play with them is when that second loss actually happens. And I think that's one thing that could hurt Tennessee this year. It's because that Georgia game falls, 2 weeks before conference championship week, right?
Yeah, but if they go there and they play and let's say they lose to Georgia by a touchdown in Athens, that's not going to hammer them.
No, not a touchdown. But let's say you lose by like 18, though.
Y'all are going to make it rain. They're going to lose by a couple of touchdowns down there. You know that, Biscuit. It's going to rain or wristbands or some shit.
I don't know about that. I mean,
that'll be a. Listen, Heupel's offense. I don't know if it'll work against Georgia, man. I mean, that defense is just so suffocating. I don't see how that game's going to be that close.
Tennessee's Achilles heel is that they don't have the same depth. If they have a bunch of injuries between now and then, they get hurt.
That's true too. Yeah.
That's the problem. But their starting 22 are excellent.
Well, God forbid Golden Boy goes down. I mean, who's behind him? If you don't mind me asking.
It doesn't matter. They just shit out.
That's a good question. I don't even know right now.
What's that?
I mean, yeah. What happens if Golden Boy goes down?
Who's Nico's backup? Somebody, one of you
Gaston something.
Gaston? Jesus.
I think it's
another young guy, though. I think it's another young.
Is he?
Yeah, I think so.
Keeping him healthy has got to be key for y'all. I mean, y'all need to put fucking pillows under that dude's pads for the rest of the year.
Hold on. So when this is Heupel's fourth year at Tennessee, right? But they're in 2020. So against Georgia, he's got 21 points, 17 points, 13 points, and 10 points. I'll bet Kirby Smart against that offense he's got every time until they prove me wrong.
Well,
how about that?
I'm with you well in terms of patterns. I always follow patterns. That's why I'm not picking Georgia to beat Alabama this weekend. But until you prove me wrong, I'm not going.
Well, you don't think that pattern resets with Bama with old DeBoer taking over?
I think this is a 50-50 game, and if I'm a betting man, I'm looking at it. They're to Alabama, which is extremely difficult. And I'm looking at our weak points are along the defensive line, especially if we have injuries this weekend. We have 3 of our best defensive linemen that are kind of 50-50 playing. And if we don't have that defensive line rotation going, they could run all over us.
I don't know that.
I don't love Jalen Milroe. I think he's a totally overrated quarterback. So I mean that actually gives me hope. Ironically.
Well, and Alabama has looked so vulnerable this year. I mean, they just haven't played anybody that could fucking put the knife in them. I mean, Georgia definitely has the ability to go out and do that, regardless of if they're on the road or not. You know.
Well, and I'd be lying if I didn't say that I wasn't worried after that.
Fireball with an actual a valid comment. It's a lot about matchups too. I don't think Bama can beat us in Neyland, but I think UGA can. There you go. I just think that Kirby Smart's got that offense figured out. They don't score points.
The concern I have is that so in situations where Georgia's played poorly, right? You've seen them like against Clemson in the years past when they've had the bad games, like the one against Missouri a couple of years ago, the bad game against Auburn. They kick it into gear for at least a quarter and a half, or a half, and get it going. Against Kentucky, that was a 50-50 game at the end.
Yeah.
That was shockingly like a problem. And
arguably one flag away from losing.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Yeah. So I mean that was extremely dangerous.
But
and the thing about Tennessee, here's the funny thing with Tennessee too this past weekend is the Tennessee Oklahoma game reminded me a lot of the Georgia Tennessee game 2 years ago in Athens, where Georgia beat them 27-13, but it was a worse game probably than the score showed. Yeah. The Oklahoma-Tennessee game mirrored that almost identically to me because they were winning. It was interesting to see them. If they weren't wearing Tennessee uniforms, I would have thought it'd been Georgia because they were trying to run the football, they were protecting their quarterback, and they were playing great defense, right? And so it was weird to see that a team that was like throwing all over the place last year win a game that way. And when you start seeing a team with the ability to go into different modes like that against different teams, that's a good sign for them. So I'm not.
And I wouldn't be too worried about, because I mean, let's just be honest. Kirby has a tendency to kind of shit the bed at least one game a year as far as keeping one game against a shitty opponent close. I mean, last year was Missouri, right? Missouri was leading at half.
Yeah, last year was Auburn and South Carolina.
It was Auburn,
right? South Carolina they were losing at halftime, 14-3.
Granted, he usually comes out on top in those games, but he does. You're generally it's a given you're going to get a couple of
11 since fucking 2017.
Biscuit will tell you himself. They're good for at least one or two close games against a shitty opponent every year,
and they fucking win.
Yeah, they usually do.
I'm not like you're talking about, Rob, like I'm coming out here as a complaining fan. I realize this is what I've been through the past 6-7 years has been great, and a lot of fans don't get to experience that. So I'm I'm not complaining. I mean, any national champion has a bad game or two where they play down to an opponent. Almost every single one of them do that, right? So I mean, I'm not naysaying. I'm just saying we're talking about whether Georgia can beat Tennessee or whether Tennessee has any chance against Georgia, and of course they have a chance. I mean, these aren't. Tennessee has a quality defense this year and can run the football too. So I mean, you're balanced.
I wonder about the depth on for Tennessee's defense, because it hasn't really been completely tested yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see on that front. I mean, their defensive line is really good. I'll give them that. And they've essentially rebuilt that secondary because it was the shits last year.
Yeah.
And they played a lot better in the secondary, so give the ball some credit there.
Yeah, that was one Achilles heel of Heupel was the secondary, so that is a good point. And I was looking at it. Go ahead, Biscuit.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, I mean, everything. Yeah, you're right. Everything is projection at this point. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? We can only base it on what we've seen so far, and we've only had what? So Georgia's played 2 Power 5 opponents. Tennessee's played 1.
Yeah, Tennessee's played 2.
Able to go on the road.
Well, NC State though was they're 88th in the FPI.
I forgot about NC State.
Okay, we're getting some comments over here. They're 12 deep on the defensive line.
Oh, my bad.
Okay, well, I mean, that's fine. I mean, what kind of quality are the 8 on the 4?
Does that mean you have 12 defensive linemen? Is that where you're going? You have 12 guys that call themselves defensive linemen? Maybe that's what he's trying to say. I don't know. He's like, I looked at the depth chart. There were 12 guys that said defensive linemen, so we're 12 deep.
Well, I mean, are they? I don't know. I honestly don't know their rotation. I mean, are they actually playing 12, or is it just 12 on the roster?
I thought they just had that James Pierce guy.
I knew they're rotating.
Biscuit's over here being serious, and I'm just mocking the old ball man. But no, you're right. They look a lot better on defense than they have. I think this is the best defense that Heupel's had in his career. I think I could go back that far. So
that's probably
congratulations to him.
That's probably fair. Granted, you would, apart from Oklahoma with a shitty quarterback, I mean, this defense hasn't really been tested, so I don't want to put too much praise on them yet. I mean,
they're not getting enough credit. Like that's a solid win going to Oklahoma and winning. And I know Oklahoma struggled with a horrible Houston the week before. It's not the same though when you have the build up and know that a team like Tennessee or Georgia or Alabama or Clemson or whatever are coming into play you. It's a different atmosphere. The fans are amped. The team is more amped. So to me, like winning road games against top 15 teams, that to me gives a team a lot more credibility. That's why I've been saying all along, like Georgia's schedule, everybody keeps talking about Florida. At Ole Miss, at Texas, at Alabama. That is like those are top 5 teams. We're not talking about just top 20 teams. Those are like national championship level potential teams. That's so difficult, and there's no way they're going to navigate through that.
No. Well, and the thing with Oklahoma, I mean, I'm looking at their schedule. They've got at least 4 more losses loaded up in the barrel. I mean, I get what you're saying about going on the road and beating a team, but this is just an average team at best. I mean, they're nothing special. I don't put a whole lot behind that win. I mean, that's like I think they're going to finish right around where Kentucky's going to finish, to be quite honest with you. I mean, they're losing. I got their schedule pulled up here. They're losing to Texas. They might lose to South Carolina. I say that's 50-50. That's a toss-up. They're losing to Ole Miss. They're probably losing to Missouri. That's on the road. They're losing to Bama. They're losing to LSU on the road.
I think you're assuming an awful lot there.
I don't know.
Oklahoma, Texas always becomes a sort of you never know, like in that game.
Mizzou looks like shit too, by the way.
Mizzou. I certainly.
Well, yeah. A while ago, you just said that they get better as the season goes on.
They do, but as of right now, they've looked like shit. If they get better as the season goes on.
Don't they play Oklahoma later in the season? So
yeah, November 9th. Yeah. And getting that game at home is going to be big for Mizzou too. Granted, this is all weeks down the road. You never know what's going to happen in the college football season.
Oklahoma in that game.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I listen.
Don't
College
they play,
football.
They have that thing called bye week, right? Which is like when Drinkowitz sees South Carolina, it's a bye week. They have the bye week before the Oklahoma game. So
No, we ain't losing to Missouri this year. We're getting that fucking monkey off our back this year, Rob.
Forever. The guy goes to fucking App State and fucking drops dick on you. The guy has never lost to you, ever.
My point is, though,
just because something hasn't happened doesn't mean that it can't
happen. Yeah.
Winning on the road at an 8-4 team, especially when they have the environment and the atmosphere that Oklahoma has traditionally, that's still a quality win.
I'm not saying right now it's a quality win, but at the end of the year, I think we're going to examine that game a little different, is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I don't think they're getting a whole lot of credit. Examine it differently. I don't think they're getting a whole lot of credit for it right now. I mean, I think a lot of people are saying, like you, it's not a great win. And
stop.
I've heard different. I've heard different. I've heard. Granted, it was a little closer than the Tennessee man would have liked. I've heard, just heaping praise over that performance. That's just what I've heard personally.
There's a lot of Tennessee fans that are saying they could have won the game by 30 points or whatever, and that's not true either. But I don't think there's any shame in the way they won it. I mean, there was no in that game, even though the score was reasonably close. There was still. That's why it reminds me of that Georgia-Tennessee game 2 years ago. There was no doubt they were going to win that football game.
No, it was always Tennessee's
even if they had gotten within one score, everybody, you still didn't feel threatened if you're a Tennessee fan. I mean,
TK says Rob has SEC bias as a dumbass if he thinks Oklahoma is going to lose all those games. Isn't it crazy how when your team beats somebody, all of a sudden that team that you beat magically turns into Alabama?
Yeah,
it's like fairy dust.
That's why I'm hoping Clemson just keeps winning.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
But that's just common sense. That's the world of college football that we live in.
Supposed to pull for the teams that you beat to do well.
Yeah, I don't think that's out of the realm at all that they lose every single one of those games.
I have a warped way of looking at things. All I care about is my team. I really don't give a shit about everybody else's. When it comes to how I feel about my team.
Yeah, but isn't that inherently caring about your team?
No,
he's got you there.
Don't try.
I mean, it is. What are you talking about? We run off polls. This isn't like it's not like in baseball where you have a record, and then if you have a better record than the other team, you go win.
I'm more worried about if Sweeney's gonna let our offensive coordinator actually call plays. I don't give a shit about what Georgia's doing or anybody else is doing.
Yes, you do.
I care about my team and my bets. That's all I give a shit about. So,
and if you care about your team, you care about what their positioning is.
Don't tell me what to care about, sir. I only care about what I want to care.
I'm telling you what you do behind the scenes. You're lying right now. There's no way you don't.
Good shit.
It's a front. It's because he hates the SEC man so much.
This is why you're 90. This is why you're 96.
And there's an opportunity between two teams who are playing each other that could jump one into the top 11 or give Clemson more credibility by winning more. You're pulling for the team that's going to push Clemson into the playoff. You know it.
Wayne says OU did everything in all caps they could to slow down Tennessee with the field conditions, and hype slowed the O down. Nobody cares what you think. Beaches.
Now this is nonsense. This is bullshit. So enough with the field conditions. This is the problem I have.
Oklahoma had to play.
It's always the field conditions. It's always the field conditions.
Oklahoma had to play on that field.
Conspiracy. Did they both not play on the same grass? I mean, did they play football differently on each side of the ball? Stop.
That's where the argument breaks down. They don't think that
the
far.
Sand patches were strategically placed. I
did want to.
Good win. Isn't that enough? Is that not enough?
Right. Well, even with all that stuff that's shitty.
I mean, come on.
You're telling me is Tennessee's a Nike school, right? I'm sure Nike gives you fucking higher sets of cleats and everything else.
Yeah.
Get your equipment guy in order and fucking adjust to the field. That's what fucking SEC teams do, right?
Exactly right.
They do the same shit with Under Armour. Under Armour, I know for South Carolina, if they have.
I guess it was. Was Oklahoma wearing? Like, did they put glue on their shoes or? what were they doing that was different? They prepare for it.
Sir. Stick them.
Hey, well, And one thing I want to talk about, this is a little off topic of what we were just discussing.
Well, be quick here because I gotta get this in, man.
There was some big updates in the the big project that's going on with the 885-acre renovation around Williams-Brice, right? I saw some there's an article in Sports Business Journal that I was reading about it, and it kind of gives some layout of what might actually be built, and essentially it's broken down into different modules, right? So one of them they're talking about is going to be luxury condos, so for game day condos. So it'll probably be similar to like the cockabooses. And another one, they were talking about building a damn Bass Pro Shop. Can you imagine that right in the middle of Columbia?
Well, for all of that to happen, for folks that don't know, they're going to have to do some, I don't know what the term I can use here, but they're going to have to maneuver some of those folks that are down there in that area.
Gentrification?
Well,
they already own the land, Rob.
Is that the term?
It doesn't matter. You can own the land, but you got ghetto next to it, brother.
Well, and that was another thing they were talking about is in one of the modules, a champion, like a PGA Tour championship level golf course, and a youth golf course at that the university would also take advantage of for their golf teams. So it's turning.
It'll help build the city. I goof.
Well, yeah.
It's where I live, so I mean, I want the city to do well. But on the other hand, I know how the University of South Carolina is. They don't give a fuck about the people of the city. They never have. They never will. It's all about what we can do on our 8 Saturdays for football, and we can't share a baseball state. We can't do anything. Can't have the Inferno. Use a fucking building that we don't even use anymore. They don't give a fuck. So,
well, yeah.
And do whatever the fuck you're gonna do, but just don't make my taxes go any higher. That's where I'm at.
That's the main reason they're adding in the condos. One of the things they mentioned was of the season ticket holder base. I guess they pulled financial numbers. Over 20% of them have a net worth of over $2 million. So that was one of the main reasons to try and get these game day condos to just cater to the rich.
Hold on. Do you really think that people that make that much money are going to buy a condo in the middle of the fucking ghetto?
Well, listen, Williams-Brice.
I'll be honest with you, brother. Williams-Brice is, look, I can shit on the.
I don't think they're
experience there. I'm just telling you, growing up, when I went to games at Williams-Brice, Henley Holmes, which is the equivalent of the 9th Ward in New Orleans, was a stone throws away from there. They got rid of all of that. They have to do a lot more of that to get a lot of these people that, I mean, it's the most concentrated area of police action in Columbia is the section of where Williams-Brice is. That's why nobody goes there unless it's for the fucking fair, and people get shot at the fair.
Well, that's what I'm saying though, Rob. They're the condos.
That was the little fish in the barrel thing that was overblown.
They're saying they're going to be connected
be
directly.
There this year. I'll bet you I don't know, something. Whatever the hell it is you want. There's always a shooting at the fair every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Every year.
There's always a shooting at the fair.
You guys are describing why the Braves moved from downtown Atlanta.
That's exactly
they're saying.
What they moved.
Yeah, probably. Well, Atlanta. Come on, let's not compare Atlanta to Columbia.
I don't want to leave a Braves game and
far.
walk a half block and Jackpot's pissing
That's
on
a
the
bit
side
far.
of the road.
Jackpot did piss on the side. Jackpot. Well, and that's what I was
going to say. That was a long time ago.
The condos would be connected to the club level seating.
You had to go.
Yeah.
That's true. Anyway. Jackpot pissing in Atlanta has to be a just something from a fucking fever dream.
Those black ladies are like, look at that white man with his penis out.
What do condos being attached to a football stadium do for you, though? I mean,
I don't know.
6 days a year, you can do something.
The first set they built, that's where Clowney and everybody stayed. People don't know that. That's when they built the first tower that's over there. That's where Clowney and all of them stayed. That's where they'll have them for the players too.
Yeah, well, but Biscuit, you ought to go read that article. It's on Sports Business Journal. I mean, it's going to be, if it actually goes through, it's a huge development, not just for the university but for the city. I mean, they're speaking about it as if it's going to be it's essentially plans to be the first title town, but for college. Is essentially what it's being built as, an 885-acre college title town. So.
All right, guys. Well, we got to get Chris on, but hey, I appreciate you guys.
Yep. Hey, horns down. Kyle Kennard's the best defensive end in the country. Go Cox. Beamer's better than fucking Skeletor. We'll never hire Skeletor. He's a piece of shit.
You don't like winning.
Yeah, what he said. All right.
All right. Thanks, Biscuit.
See ya.
All right, Chris, tell us how the Tennessee defense is the best ever, brother.
Oh my God, having to listen to upgrades to around Williams-Brice Stadium was like listening to like Caitlyn Jenner talk about all the fucking work she's about to have done. Who cares?
Well, yeah, I mean, you know about when you guys went the last time you went to Williams-Brice Stadium, it was a little shop of horrors, and you had to step over crackheads on your way out from getting your shit pushed in. So
yeah,
I understand. Yeah, it sucked bad.
I mean, I had to go watch the Braves lose at Washington Nationals Park too, and that sucked, but doesn't make it any better. It doesn't mean that outside of Washington Nationals Park is any better than the team that they put on the field. But no, it's just crazy that he thinks because Tennessee turned off the offense and just smothered them on defense and it was a 10-point game that South Carolina could go in there and win. Like,
who's you talking about?
They don't have any. They can't move the ball.
Well, they changed quarterbacks, so it's not Jackson Arnold anymore. We'll see how this new quarterback goes. He moved the ball better than Jackson Arnold did.
To be fair, though,
there was a reason Jackson was starting over him, though.
Because Jackson Arnold's daddy's richer than frickin' God in Texas and made sure his son. They literally picked the OC this year to keep. That's why they're not even discussing, hey, Jackson Arnold can win a spot back. Literally, Brent Venables said today, hey, Jackson Arnold's going to be a good football player in the future, wherever he decides to go. He's literally already cut Jackson Arnold loose. Like, he's done with him. That man, he's not going to let that man's daddy control what offense they run anymore. They've moved on to the Hawkins era. So
did they run what's his name off? Is that why he ended up at Oregon? Or did he just leave? I mean,
I think that had a lot to do with Jackson Arnold's daddy too, because I think it was either they thought they could have at least 3 years with Jackson Arnold, 2-3 years with Jackson Arnold. You got 1 year with Dillon Gabriel. You stick with Dillon Gabriel for one more year, you lose Jackson Arnold, you possibly lose your future. Mm-hmm. And I think they had to pick between Jackson Arnold and Dillon, and 1 year or 2 years was better than one, and it's bit them in the ass. My thing with Venables is that hire he made. I said it in the offseason when they made it. I said, you have a quarterback that you are going to need to develop. He's a young redshirt freshman, and you already have a tight ends coach. You literally hire another guy who's only been a tight ends coach his entire career. I think he might have been a running backs coach one time. He's never coached quarterbacks. He didn't play quarterback. And you hire him to be the quarterback's coach, and now your quarterback can't do anything. Your quarterback didn't develop anything from last year. And it's like, it kind of feels like he just wanted an Oklahoma man, kind of like for a long time, Dabo had a problem where he only wanted a Clemson man running the offense, or it has to be a GA that we promote or a OA or whatever. Like, and it's like, man, sometimes you got to leave the family and see what you can go out there and find. There was a lot of guys available that they could have went out and hired and had a better offense this year.
How about we just say the Tennessee defense was good and made their offense look like shit? Why don't we just go with that?
And that's an argument. I would love that argument because I think our defense is really good. I think teams are going to struggle with us. I'd like to see how we do against Alabama in a few weeks. But they sucked offensively all season. I'm curious to see how Hawkins does. Hawkins looks like he's a little undersized. I think he is a true freshman. But he's electric. I mean, that dude, that's him getting tackled and doing that. He did like a double front flip going into the end zone and popped right back up and was ready to shove the ball into the end zone if they wouldn't have stopped to see if he made it in the first time. But like, the kid's tougher than nails. Now, how long is he going to last being tougher than Nels? We'll have to see, but you're not going in there. That's my thing. Is South Carolina's not going in there facing the same old bum ass Jackson Arnold. Like, I like this kid a lot more. I would be excited for him compared to Jackson Arnold. I was never, after watching the bowl game, I wasn't high on Jackson Arnold.
Well, I think they need to give Jackson Arnold another chance.
But you do. I'm mind blown with this dude that left UNLV, and I looked him up. I was like, well, they are 3-0 or 4-0, whatever UNL. They're undefeated. So let's see what this guy. That dude's thrown. He's less than 50% completion rate. He's thrown 2 touchdowns this year, and he's out here acting like he's freaking prime Aaron Rodgers in free agency or something. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Hold on.
I don't know. It was a very weird story. I saw it in the middle of the night when I woke up to go to work this morning. And he tweeted, or I don't know if he put this out on Instagram or Twitter. I don't know where he put it out at, but he put it out at 12:49 a.m.
Oh, he's doing that midnight news dump.
Well, no, I mean they're 3 hours behind us, so it's 9:49 p.m.
Oh yeah, true.
So,
but that's just crazy. And then the running back, he's got 2 touchdowns. He did the same, and I'm just like, and I get it. Their NIL, their collective could be the shits, and these kids are just. I think it's stupid they didn't have a signed contract with the kid in the first place, whether he was going to be good or bad, because
that's the thing there. I mean, if you don't have the signed NIL deals or whatever, there's a part of me that's like, you know what? If I'm promised something, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But on the other end, it's like it's a slippery slope, man.
Which I love Hendon Hooker, but people close to the program talk about him, how he was having that good final year, and he's getting paid $800,000 for that final year. That's why he came back instead of testing out UDFA or a late round pick. And hell, we got past the Alabama game, and he started going to Spire. And Spire's like, bro, we've tapped our money out. Our salary cap is tapped for the year. Like, we can't pay you any more than we're already paying you. I think he was a little disgruntled about it, but like, if you have a signed contract saying, hey, we're going to pay you this much for this long, like, you got to live by that. And if you sit there and let a kid work on a day-to-day contract basically and not sign anything, and then he decides in the middle of what you're needing from him, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, that's on you. If you had him signed to a contract, then you could catch him for breach of contract, but they didn't want to sign him to a contract. I think it was because I think UNLV did it because if he did suck or he didn't start, then they could get away with not having to pay him. But now the inverse happened, which I don't think he was good, but the inverse happened. He did start, and they are doing pretty good. So now he's like, I want more money. And they're like, oh, we don't have it, bro. Sorry. But I don't know, man. It needs to be regulated more. Like I said, I think one of the things that they recommended in Congress that I agree with, there's not a lot of it I agreed with, but one of them was you had to be a licensed agent or an attorney to run a collective, because you got these real estate agents and freaking barbers, ex-barbers, and all kinds of stuff running collective agencies. And
barber.
Yeah, dude. One of I forget what school it was. It wasn't a big school. It was up in Virginia, not ODU or James Madison, but one of them, like the head of their collective owned a barbershop. It was insane. But yeah, in the NFL, you got to be a licensed agent to represent these players. I don't know why you don't have to in college. They need to get on that. But
because
we got a bye week.
It's a private league. I mean, that's why.
Yeah. Well, you got a players association and everything, and I think college will get there soon enough. But we got a bye week this weekend, so I really ain't got to talk about. I'll be watching what everybody else is watching. It's the Georgia-Alabama game. Right now, if I had to put money down, I'd say Alabama money line by a little bit, but it is the epitome of a 50-50 game in my eyes right now. The only I'm just giving Alabama the slight edge because it's in Tuscaloosa. But man, I gun to my head, I couldn't really make an honest pick that I believed in for either way, man. It's such
that's what I told him. I said the only way if I were betting my money on it, which I wouldn't, but if I were, the only thing I would bet would be like Georgia to go under in the first half or something on their team total, because they always seem to start sluggish. Other than that, I don't know.
I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a slugfest, man. I'd like to see both teams get pretty worn out. We don't play Georgia for another month after that, or a month and a half, but Alabama's in 4 weeks. Maybe we can get a couple dudes dinged up before then.
All right, buddy. Well, good luck against bye week. I think you guys are going to cover.
I think we finally got them this year. 15-year streak breaking it. We're breaking it, baby. There you go.
Buddy, let's see you later on. Thanks, man. All right, Jackpot. Did you have any locks this week you wanted to put out there? My lock is Illinois. I mean, that's my favorite pick of the week is Illinois. Is there one that you like?
Well, damn you. Mine's gonna be Notre Dame.
Okay. Well, there you go. Our lock picks, Jackpot, have been like 8-1 or some shit like that.
So insane. Yeah. Just stealing money.
Yeah, just fucking or go get Josh Pate's Oodles and Noodles Express.
The Oodles and Noodles is that runs off the damn tracks. This here is solid.
Yeah, well, there you go. There's our two. We'll see how we do with that. I've got Illinois plus 18. Jackpot's got you got, what'd you say, Notre Dame? Notre Dame minus 6.
I'm almost. I hate to do it too, but I'm almost willing to make Clemson a lock as well. But I'm not gonna do that one because I don't know. But been looking pretty good. If Louisville does go to Notre Dame and wins, does that make the matchup with Clemson and Louisville in your mind a little bit more dicey?
I don't like. I don't know, man. Like when I look at, I watched Louisville play, and they. I mean, I guess that'll help the Clemson schedule a little bit, but it's in Death Valley. I don't think they're winning there. I really don't. I just they didn't win there with fucking Lamar Jackson. I know it's just I think it's in their head, to be honest with you. But I mean, streaks come to an end, but I think that the Clemson defense will hold them in check. I really believe that. Someone asked me to pick a game that I thought that Clemson could lose this season, looking the rest of the way. And I think the Pittsburgh game is playing there, could be interesting. And you still got to go to Florida State. And they've still got a ton of talent. I think they're a piece of shit team, but they've got a ton of talent. So those are the two that I picked. It was like, all right, I think that there's a.
Looks like our buddy Jay Shipus got into it with Wayne over in the comment section.
Oh shit!
It's still going on too.
I'm gonna read. Can I read some of? Jay says, Wayne, who's the special needs lady? Your big brother in your avatar. Oh my god.
Oh, goodness.
Wayne says you're weaker than Minner Piss and 10 Acre Pond. Talk a lot of shit, but wouldn't and couldn't bust a grape in a Welch's factory. Oh my god, Wayne.
Couldn't bust a grape in the produce section.
Nah, that's what we call your mom. That's semen funneler. He called his mom a semen funneler. Jesus Christ.
Volcourt says Clemson going to cook USC Junior. Okay. Yeah. So what they said, we were losing to Kentucky by 32, and that didn't happen. You're dumb. I mean, some people are they're just dumb.
Nope, the bitch is full. Jesus, Wayne. Lane, look, I'm gonna give you a pro tip. Okay? And I think I don't remember you being in here very often up until this season. If I'm going to get into a battle in the comments section, Jay Shipes is the last motherfucker that I'm going to pick. So if I were you, I would just walk away. It's not worth it, dude. It's not worth it. Because Jay doesn't give a shit. He didn't give a fuck. Maybe getting out of your depth there, sir. All right, Jackpot. It's been a good show. We'll see you guys later on.
All right.